The episode doesn't open soft. It doesn't warm up. It doesn't ease in. It hits like a slap in the silence. Tamar Braxton sits down with that smile, the smile that fools nobody anymore. Tamar Braxton is holding herself together with sheer force. Tamar Braxton is pretending not to break, even though her whole face is screaming for help. And then she says the sentence that slices straight through the fandom like broken glass. Tamar Braxton says her sisters don't like her. Not don't agree with me. Not don't understand me. Not don't treat me fair. She says they don't like her. That's not surface drama. That's soul-level betrayal. Tamar Braxton says she doesn't feel like her own sisters see her as a sister. Tamar says she doesn't feel wanted. Tamar says she doesn't feel included. And the way she whispers it, you can feel every tear she swallowed for years. The shocking part? Tamar Braxton still says she wants to fix things. This woman, who feels completely pushed out of her own bloodline, still says she wants reconciliation. Tamar Braxton says she'll show up if they show up. Tamar says she keeps trying even when the door is slammed in her face. Tamar says she is ready for healing. And that is when the real twist hits. While Tamar Braxton is crying on TV, Towanda Braxton is online doing a whole spiritual sermon about energy, vibrations, peace, and protecting her frequency. Towanda is calm, collected, and cold. Towanda's husband is in preacher mode, acting like he's delivering scripture from Mount Olympus. Towanda Braxton doesn't say Tamar's name. But she might as well have screamed it. Every line, every phrase, every fake deep spiritual buzzword is dripping with shade. Don't drain our energy. Don't dump your triggers on us. If you can't match the frequency, vibrate out. I don't care if you're my mama, sister, twin, or Jesus. There it is. The shot fired. No hesitation. No mercy. Towanda Braxton and her husband basically say, Tamar, you are the problem. Stay away from us. And Tamar Braxton? She has no idea this live is happening. She's on camera begging for connection while her own sister is online slamming the spiritual door in her face. But this is where the plot gets explosive, because this isn't a new wound. This is an old wound that Tamar has been bleeding from for years. Let's go all the way back. Towanda Braxton allegedly used Tamar's credit card to pay her phone bill and other bills. Not once. Not twice. 4 months. When it got exposed, Towanda didn't apologize, she flipped the script and acted like Tamar was overreacting. Towanda took money from Tamar and later pretended Tamar owed her something. And the wedding lie? That one stung the hardest. Towanda Braxton went online telling the world that Tamar didn't show up to her wedding, when the truth was the exact opposite. Towanda uninvited her. Towanda blocked her. Towanda didn't want her there. And then pretended to be the victim. So when Tamar Braxton cries that she doesn't feel wanted, she's not imagining anything. She's describing a pattern. A long, painful, messy pattern. But hold on. The drama climbs even higher. Tamar Braxton tells the therapist-type lady she wants reconciliation. Tamar says there is still hope. Tamar says she still believes in fixing the sisterhood. And the therapist asks her a question that cuts deep. How long will you keep putting yourself through this trauma? The timing is brutal, because right after Tamar says she wants healing, Towanda Braxton goes live again and makes it clear she wants a no healing with Tamar. Someone on the live asks, is Tamar coming to your wedding? Towanda doesn't blink. Towanda doesn't breathe. Towanda doesn't sugarcoat. She says the coldest line she has ever said. No. She's not coming. Not to the wedding. Not anywhere near me. And she says it like she's relieved. That's the moment fans realize this isn't a fight. This is a fracture. This is a family split wide open. Tamar wants a bandage. Towanda wants distance. Tamar wants peace. Towanda wants silence. Tamar wants unity. Towanda wants separation. You can feel Tamar Braxton's heart shatter in real time. And while Tamar is breaking apart on screen, Towanda and her husband are talking about peace, joy, frequency, and refusing to allow negativity into their space. They say they won't be coddling anybody. They say they won't babysit grown people. They say they will not lower their vibrations for anyone. It's cold. It's calculated. It's a boundary disguised as a knife. Towanda's husband even says, "We're not plugging into any of that. I don't care who you are." That line is the knife's twist. Because he wasn't talking about a stranger. He was talking about Tamar Braxton. And then comes the final blow of part 1. Tamar Braxton sits there, wiping her tears, voice shaking, and says, "They don't like me." Not angry. Not dramatic. Not performing. Just broken. She realizes her sisters don't want reconciliation. She realizes she's been chasing a family who doesn't chase her back. She realizes she's been loving people who don't return the love. She realizes she's been fighting alone. And that realization is the most painful twist of all. Tamar Braxton thought the worst part was admitting her pain on camera, but she had no idea the real storm was still coming. Because part 2 isn't gentle. Part 2 isn't emotional. Part 2 isn't healing. Part 2 is war. The moment Tamar's tearful confession aired, fans rushed to her side. But Towanda Braxton? Towanda didn't soften. Towanda didn't blink. Towanda didn't pick up the phone. Instead, Towanda doubled down. Towanda stood firm like a woman who had been waiting years to finally declare her distance. And this is where the story goes from emotional to explosive. Because Tamar Braxton didn't know that while she was crying for sisterhood, Towanda Braxton and her husband had already made a decision behind closed doors. A decision that would shock Tamar, shock the family, shock the fandom, and shock anyone who ever believed in the Braxton bond. They were done with her. Not a taking a break. Not a needing space. Not cooling down. Done. Finished. Closed chapter. Locked door. Burned bridge. Towanda's husband made it loud and clear during another part of the live, "We're not engaging with chaos. We're not healing triggers we didn't create. If you can't elevate, you can exit. Period." Exit. That word stabbed Tamar's entire storyline. Because Tamar was the only sister asking for entrance. Tamar Braxton was the only one knocking on the door. Tamar was the only one trying to rebuild something everyone else had already abandoned. But then comes the moment that takes this family drama from a fight to a full-on betrayal arc. Towanda Braxton starts talking about a frequency, but this time, her tone changes. Her voice gets sharper. Her face gets tighter. And she says something fans couldn't believe. "I'm not lowering myself for anybody. Anybody." Another word that meant one name. Tamar. And the most shocking part? Towanda wasn't angry. She was relieved. It was like Towanda Braxton had finally been set free from Tamar Braxton. But while Towanda was celebrating her peace, Tamar Braxton was spiraling into a pain most people never admit publicly. Tamar wasn't performing. Tamar wasn't exaggerating. Tamar wasn't being dramatic. Tamar was grieving the loss of sisters who were still alive but emotionally gone. And the universe, the timing, the energy? It all lined up so painfully that Tamar looked like a woman fighting a battle that her opponent had already surrendered. That's when the show gives us one of the most heartbreaking scenes yet, Tamar sitting down, breathing heavily, trying not to cry again. Tamar talking about feeling like an outsider in her own bloodline. Tamar wondering why her sisters never defend her. Never protect her. Never choose her. Never fight for her the way she fights for them. And the therapist figure tries to ground her, but Tamar keeps drifting into memories. Because Tamar Braxton remembers everything. She remembers the credit card situation. She remembers the money Towanda took without gratitude. She remembers being uninvited from the wedding. She remembers being lied about publicly. She remembers being painted as the villain even when she was the one who got hurt. Tamar remembers every bruise. Tamar remembers every tear. Tamar remembers every betrayal. And suddenly, everything Towanda Braxton said on that live makes sense to her. Towanda wasn't protecting her peace. Towanda was protecting her narrative. Because if Tamar comes into the picture, Tamar brings truth. Tamar brings transparency. Tamar brings the history everyone else wants to bury. And people don't like the person who remembers the truth. But here's where the twist slaps everyone in the face. Towanda's husband adds one more line near the end of that live, a line so cold, so calculated, and so dismissive that fans were stunned into silence. He says, "If you can't vibrate up, then you need to vibrate out. And we love you, but we're not rescuing you." That sentence flips the entire story. Because he's pretending to love Tamar while kicking her out of the emotional house. And Tamar Braxton? She's watching this play out, realizing in real time that her own sister doesn't want reconciliation, she wants removal. The fandom erupts. People start saying Tamar Braxton is fighting alone. People start saying Towanda Braxton has emotionally checked out. People start saying the Braxton sisterhood is officially dead. But wait, there's one more twist. One more dagger in Tamar's back. The moment that confirms everything Tamar feared. Towanda gets asked again, "Do you want Tamar at your wedding?" Towanda doesn't breathe. Towanda doesn't think. Towanda doesn't soften. She says, "Absolutely not." 2 words. 8 letters. 0 hesitation. Absolutely not. It is the coldest rejection the Braxton family has shown to date. And you can feel Tamar's soul crack even though she's not in the room. Because what hurts isn't the answer itself. What hurts is how easy it was for Towanda to give it. No struggle. No reflection. No emotion. Just a quick, comfortable no, like Tamar Braxton was a stranger. And that's the moment the therapist's words finally hit Tamar, "You can't keep hurting yourself to save a relationship that only brings you pain." Tamar Braxton finally sees the truth. Her sisters don't want sisterhood. Her sisters don't want reconciliation. Her sisters don't want healing. Her sisters don't want her. She isn't abandoned accidentally. She is being abandoned intentionally. And the saddest part? Tamar still loves them. Tamar still wants them. Tamar still shows up. Tamar still tries. Even after all of this. The episode ends with Tamar wiping her face with the back of her hand, shaking her head, and whispering something fans will never forget. "They don't like me, they don't want me, and I don't know why." Not a scream. Not a performance. Just truth. Raw, unfiltered, heartbreaking truth. Tamar Braxton didn't lose her sisters in one fight. She lost them slowly, one boundary, one lie, one betrayal at a time, until she realized she was the only one left holding on. And that is the brutal, devastating, unforgettable,